Hello and welcome to a special Valentine's Day edition of MLB This Week. Whole lot of news here. Henry Mejia, first player ever banned for PED use. The Atlanta Braves end the standoff. All of this and so much more on this edition of MLB This Week. And hello, everyone. Welcome to MLB This Week. And wow, what a nice opening that was to the show, Gary. We're getting a little funky with that opening. Very nice music there. And, well, Valentine's Day, we only have a couple more days to the opening of spring training, Gary.
Yep, can't wait. It's coming fast, coming soon, Rich. And really looking forward to it.
Yep, just a couple more days, and pitchers and catchers will be back on the diamond down in Florida and over in Arizona. And how'd you like that truck day as it unfolded over the past week? All those trucks packing up, leaving down, going to the warmer spots.
Yeah, I wish I could hop on the back and go with them. But actually, a funny thing is the Mets are going tomorrow, so they're having a little to-do send-off there as the truck pulls out of Citi Field, heading to the warmer climes. And for some of the players that are living up here, I guess, with this weather we're having, it's none too soon. It's about, I think, about 8 or 10 degrees out there today. So it's a cold one. We're in a frost now, and those guys are going to be down in Florida. I don't know what the temps down there are, but got to be better than here.
Yeah, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of fans crowding around the truck as it pulls out of Citi Field there. I noticed when the Phillies were doing real well, they had a bunch of fans show up for that. Now I doubt there was anybody down there watching the Phillies depart for spring training. But, yeah, it should be a fun time for Mets fans. And across the league, for example, they had a lot of different people hanging out, watching the truck, waving it on, and heading off to spring training. So we'll be talking a whole lot more. Finally, some real baseball to talk about with pitchers and catchers reporting this week and later on in next weekend, Gary. But by next weekend show, we'll have a whole lot to talk about from camps.
And, yeah, Rich, and some teams are still making trades and really getting their roster settled for spring training. Some last minute minor league signings and things like that, and bringing people into camp. So yeah, pretty soon next week, as you say, we'll be talking about actual stuff going on in camps as the camps open this week, and it'll just be terrific to start seeing how things start shaking out with all the baseball teams.
That much closer to spring. And some other big news happening this week, and we had talked about it on last week's show, Gary. MLB TV is going with a single team availability for 2016. It will be out of market regular season games. So in other words, you still cannot watch your home team if you live in the same area on this new single stream offering from the MLB, but they really got this up quick. It's going to be $84.99 a year. Say if you live in New York and you're a Cubs fan, you can sign up to just get the Cubs games for $84.99. You won't have access to all of the other teams, which now they lowered the price, Gary, only down to $109.99. It had been up to around $129, $139 in that area. But for another 20 some odd dollars, you're getting 2,430 baseball games to watch as opposed to one single team. So don't know that there'll be that many people that will just save $15 or $20 to watch one team, but maybe so.
Well, it depends on how you want to look at it. To me, if I'm going to lay out $85 to get one team, I think I'd rather give myself at least the option for another $25 of getting all of the baseball teams. So you're talking about from 162 games to or 150 games versus 2,000 games for $25. I think I'd make that decision and go with the bigger package.
Absolutely. And here's the website. I just stumbled upon this on the morning that we're doing the show here. So they're lowering the price for the premium package down to $109.99. And when does that ever happen, Gary? I don't remember too many things that go down in price.
No, not as a rule. Usually they go up, never down.
And of course, with that price, you're getting a free subscription to the At-Bat Premium product, which you can use on your smartphones. And that also includes the radio edition. So if you're on your smartphone, out and about, and you want to tune into the game, you always have that availability as well. So, I think it's a great thing. Anytime the prices go down, it becomes a little more affordable. There was a lawsuit that brought this up, and there's still more trying to get the in-market teams being able to be streamed. And I've been reading a lot on this. They're trying to work on it for next season. If you are a cable subscriber currently in your market, cable television that is, you'll be able to probably stream your in-market team on your devices in 2017. I would have to guess that would be happening. It was too fast this year for them to do that. They have to do some authentication work online. But if you've ever been through ESPN's different offerings that they offer in the playoffs and things like that, you have to authenticate that you are indeed a local subscriber for cable television in your area, and then you could see some of the games. So they're going to probably do the same thing. And assuming that you are a cable television subscriber, you'll be able to do that probably in 17.
Yeah, I guess. I guess though, if I'm a subscriber and I'm at home, I'm still going to watch it on the cable station. I don't think you can not order it. We haven't gotten to that point either with the cable where you can just pick and choose stations. They still have the packages that you have to choose from. So I guess it's good if you're, like you said, if you live in New York and you're a Cubs fan or a Dodger fan, you can get the games. I just don't know. I still think I'd go with the whole package. And now, did you say that with the whole package or with either package, you get the MLB radio besides?
Yes, you get the At-Bat app for your smartphones. And of course, that, I believe, allows you to tune into the radio broadcast as well.
Well, that's a good deal then.
Yeah, that's sort of a no-brainer. It's I think it's about $20 for the whole season for the radio only package, and I've done that on certain years just to tune in. Sometimes listening to it over the radio is a different thing than watching it on television.
Right.
And, for that price, it's great, I think.
Yeah, it seems like a good deal, and the only thing is I don't always have the patience to listen to the radio if especially if I'm home. I've got to have something going. I got to have that I don't know, maybe it's stimulation, a little visual stimulation. So sometimes I'll listen to the Brooklyn Cyclones game while I'm watching a Met game, but then it gets too confusing. I'm old. It's easy to get me confused, Rich.
Right? When you got two games going on at the same time, of course.
The guy gets a hit, and I look up to see if I can see the replay, and it's two completely different games. So, I'll stick to what I have for now. But like you said, I think it is a great thing, especially if you travel a lot too. If you travel and now there's something interesting. What happens if you are a Met fan and you're on the road? But I guess if you have to show what cable you're in, it's going to come back to your home anyway. But if you're on the road, let's say, and a lot, but your address is New York, how does it work then? I mean, can you get the Mets games, or if you live in Philly and you're on the road a lot, can you? If you're on away, can you order it and fool the system? Or I
Yeah,
wonder how that works.
I'm not quite sure about that, but I do know that, when you sign up for it, uh, they do ask you where you live, your address, obviously, things like that. So I guess it would apply to whatever your address is,
Yeah.
and where you're logging in from as well. I believe that would be more important than anything, where you're logging in from.
Because I've often wondered now if you had uh, that whole package, let's say, of all the games, and let's say you're on the road, you can't get the ball game, you can't get a Phillies game, and you're in Illinois or something, but the Phillies are playing. Oh, I don't know, the Reds,
Mariners.
Mariners. Can you get it through the Mariners feed then, or how does that work?
Well, you can't really watch your team, in any fashion on the MLB.TV as it is, because of the local markets hold on the broadcast of the game. They broadcast both home and away games and bring them back to your hometown. So whether your team in your area is home or away, you're not going to receive it on MLB.TV yet. But I believe they're trying to work on that for 2017. And the sticking point again is you do have to have a cable television subscription, not just an internet subscription. I don't think they'll ever open that up to have viewers that cut the cord, so to speak, and drop their television, which a lot of people have done. Maybe years in the future, but these television companies are dropping billions of dollars for the rights to broadcast these baseball games, and they're not going to just have people that aren't paying for a service receive the games for free. So for now, I think it's just going to be. What were you going to say?
Well, it's gonna, I mean, we're paying for it now if you think about it, because you do pay for your cable bill, pays for your ESPN and all of that, and really it pays for your local. In our case, it's SNY here in New York, or Yes, which is the Yankees network. So in essence, we're paying for the games already. So I guess logically the next step is the streaming of it. They just don't want to, I guess, they don't want to kill the whole cable aspect of it. But a lot of these cable companies now, the premium ones, HBO, Showtime, all of them, they all have stuff on the internet, and you do have to have a cable, like the same thing, like you said, Rich, because you have to put in that you have HBO, you have to put in a code number and go back and forth and check it, and then you can get it on your device. So I guess that's the way it's going to go in the future. But maybe they should tie it in with the local. Like I say, SNY covers the Mets, and Yes has the thing. Maybe they should allow them to put the app on the internet and charge a small fee for that, instead of MLB is getting the fee, but where do the stations get the fee? Because they're paying to broadcast it, and the commercials then. So they'd have they still have the commercials. I don't know. It's an interesting thing, and it's out of over my head.
Yeah, it's something that takes some time to think about. But yeah, with the advertising, the cable companies are receiving the money. They're paying the teams for the rights to broadcast the games, and they're paying, frankly, a lot of money anymore. That's why these teams are so awash in money. They're sharing it with the players. We see these $100 million contracts, $150 million contracts are average. Not necessarily average today, but they're in that realm where the top guys, top 10% of the players are starting to get that kind of money. So it's coming from somewhere, and it's certainly not coming from people that are cutting the cords and not paying for cable television anymore. So I guess the moral
And
is
Rich, the only one they're not sharing that money with are the fans, and that's a shame.
that's true. The fans are paying more and more every season. I think there's going to be a limit myself, especially like we've talked about in the previous shows with the families. If you go to bring 4 people to a game now, you're going to have $300, $400, $500. Now, that's a lot of money with most average workers these days, and I don't see many families going to baseball games anymore. And it's a shame. That's where your younger fans are going to grow up and become older fans. If they miss the opportunity when they're young, they may not even tune into baseball. Baseball might be down a dead end street with that.
Well, I think it's possible that all of the sports will, because they all have their own networks now, and they're all putting on X amount of games a year. So they're all going in that direction. Baseball's not the only one, but it's almost like we're getting to the point where you're going to have empty stadiums, and everything will be online, though I don't think people will want to go to find the money if you have a winning team. I mean, we see that all the time. The Phillies for years sold out. How many years in a row they sold out? Now they're struggling, so they're not selling out. But it happens. People will come back to the ballpark. When the Mets have been so bad, it was easy to get tickets.
Sure.
Now, last year, the second half of the season, and forget it. It's difficult, and the prices go up. So I'll get to my 1 or 2 games a year. This year I went quite a bit for me. I went to about 4 Met games, I think, which is a lot for me. I used to go 13, 14 a year, but this was a different year. I went to a lot of games, but it's all about the money, though.
Yes, it is. Big news around the MLB, and unfortunately happened to be your favorite team, Gary, the Mets. Henry Mejia, this past Friday, I believe it was announced that he has been the first player ever to become permanently suspended by the MLB for a 3rd positive test for PEDs. It's important to note, as we were talking about before the show, Gary, Henry Mejia has denied the knowledge of the use of this. He wants to appeal. He said, quote, "I'm going to appeal, lose or win. I have great faith. I have to clear my name." That was his quote there, Henry Mejia. And unfortunately, in this day and age, it seems like it's going to come to this for some of these players to realize that they're not going to permit this use of the PEDs.
Well, Rich, as we were talking before on air here, I think baseball has a bigger problem than just Henry Mejia taking this. I think there's a problem in the Dominican Republic. He got caught in the Dominican, and it was while he was sidelined the first positive test. He said that he has no idea how a banned substance ended up in his system. And he said the same thing again the other day. I don't know what I mean. It's his responsibility to make sure whatever he takes gets into his system. what's in it that gets into his system. Not arguing that. I think he deserves everything he gets, but I think baseball has to do some investigation because there were 4 or 5 low minor league pitchers from the Yankee system. I recall from last year, I believe it was, from the Dominican Republic that all got suspended and for the same drug. And I think that's the kicker here, that Mejia 3 times with the same drug. Can he really be that stupid? I guess it's possible he could. But I mean, there's some things that I'm looking at here, and it's just not making sense. 3 times for him with the same drug. These bunch of other pitchers, and I think one time I read, and I could be mistaken, but I think there was like 19 people on the banned list or suspended list at one point in time, mostly minor leaguers. But like 15 or 16 were from the Dominican Republic, and that I don't know whether or not, Mejia said that, well, the trainers give him something to drink, and then maybe they're telling him it's water or Gatorade and it's laced with something to help improve them. I honestly, I don't know, and I'm not defending Henry Mejia at all. He's still, as I said, you got to know what you got to be drinking. And look, even if it's the second time, after the first 2 times, and if you're training down there, I'm not taking anything from these guys, nothing at all. I'm not even taking an aspirin from these guys. I just don't know. Maybe it's something inherent in their water down there. I don't know what it is, but it seems very strange that there's a lot of Dominicans that were and to be honest, there's a lot of Dominicans that haven't been suspended and aren't taking this. But it's just very strange that it seems that a bunch of these young guys from down in the Dominican Republic were suspended and for the same kind of drug. And I don't know. I think baseball may have to look in that direction and see if there is a problem. And if they're not, then I don't think they're missing the boat somewhere.
Yeah, and I think more so along the lines where you were saying they're responsible for their own selves, especially guys that have been traveling in the major leagues already. Stay in the United States. There's an idea. You're a professional now. You have to make sure that you're not ingesting these substances in any manner. And I think it all boils down to what you said, Gary. You're responsible for yourself. Excuses like that sound intriguing, but unfortunately, I don't think they carry the day. Now, on the other hand, he's got 1 year, and then he can reapply for a reinstatement. So there you have it. You've got a lifetime ban announced, and then in a year, oh yeah, you can reapply for reinstatement.
Yeah, but then he's still got to sit out 2 years? Is that too?
Yeah, if it's accepted, if he's accepted by Manfred or whoever's the commissioner of baseball, then he'll have to sit out a minimum of 2 years before being able to pitch again in the minors. So even if the application is denied, Mejia could ask a baseball's arbitrator to end the ban, claiming the penalty is, quote, without just cause. An arbitrator not able to reduce the ban to less than 2 years. So even if an arbitrator helps him, he's looking at a 2-year ban. But really, a lifetime ban is a lifetime ban unless there's loopholes like there is in this clause.
Which is, again, sort of a little ridiculous that that there are loopholes, but it's just and don't get me wrong. I'm not defending the guy. I think he deserves everything he gets. But I think baseball itself, though, has to really consider looking into this problem, because it may be an epidemic. problem here, and or it may not mean anything. It may be just that these 15 idiots got caught, or they trained in the wrong part. But it's really a shame. 26 years old, the guy had a bright future, and now to just kiss it goodbye. It's just it's over stupidity like this is ridiculous.
Yeah, and of course the Mets acquired recently Antonio Bastardo, who is with the Phillies. He received a 50-game suspension back in 2013, part of the Biogenesis baseball scandal. So yeah, he's also from the Dominican Republic. So maybe the word is out amongst those guys. Hey, you got to take these things, or else you're going to lose your edge in this game. Whatever the case may be. Certainly concentrated, it seems like, in that Dominican area right now. But a lot of money is at stake with this, and anytime there's money at stake and salaries and things like that, some of these players are doing whatever they can to continue to keep earning that.
Well, of course, and a lot of them come from poor beginnings, so this is whatever they can do to make it. I know Jerry's familiar now. I believe he's from down there as well, but he didn't make that much money this year. But you should see the house he's got down there, because it's you make 50,000 a year. I think you can live like a king down there, and these guys are making millions, or getting these younger guys are not quite there yet, but even making 200,000-300,000 a year, boy, it's like a multi-millionaire down there. So they come from poor beginnings, and this is their opportunity to make money, I guess. And it's just a shame that it has to happen, of course. And but look, you do it once, okay, you can not look the other way, but you can be forgiven. Twice gets a little tougher to forgive you, but the third time, forget it.
Yeah, it's they didn't learn their lesson once or twice. The third time is the charm, as they say.
Exactly.
Well, moving on with the show. Speaking of one times and two times, twice is nice, so to speak. You have a story on the Royals going to celebrate twice.
Well, this isn't a very nice story, Rich. I'm not very happy about this. This, I think, was really used to rub it into the face of the Mets. But who knows? The Mets open up with the Royals, and before the April 3rd opener on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, the Royals will raise the championship banner. And then 2 days later, when the teams meet in the second game of the season, the Royals receive their championship rings in a pregame ceremony. So that means the Mets must endure two ceremonies, reliving their loss to the Royals in the 2015 Fall Classic. Now, I'm sure the people of Kansas City are happy about this, but the reasoning that they give seems a little bogus to me, but then I'm a sore loser. We've decided to move the ring ceremony to the second game of the season so our entire fan base could feel like they are part of it, the Royal Senior VP of Business Operations said in a statement. While it's great that ESPN has selected our season opener for their first primetime telecast, only our fans in attendance would have the opportunity to witness the entire ring ceremony. By moving the ceremony to Tuesday, our partners at Fox Sports Kansas City can carry the ring presentation in its entirety for all fans to see. Yada, 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 a lot of BS. If you ask me, I don't see why they couldn't have, don't they have pregame shows and everything? And they could, have the ring ceremony on that, and then the network comes in and takes over the broadcast. It's just, I don't know. It just seems a little, maybe it's a little sour grapes on my part. But I just wonder if they weren't playing the Mets in the first two games of the season, whether or not they would do it that way or whether they would do it differently. But we'll never know. So they're going to have a double ceremony, and maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll get the Mets more fired up for the season and make them get hungry to get back to the World Series, and and this time beat the pants off whoever's they're playing against.
Yeah, and I wonder if that scheduling is just a coincidence that the Mets are playing the Royals like that, or do you think it's more in line with the way they finished?
No, it was scheduled before the World Series, even before the playoffs. Even when the schedule came out, those two games were scheduled, so it really had nothing to do with the World. It's just the way it worked out in the long run, but really had nothing to do with the playoffs or the World Series or anything like that.
So it's interesting sometimes how that seems to coincide in baseball. Nobody had an idea that it would be Mets Royals in the World Series before it started. So it's pretty neat, actually. Shame for the players, like you said, they have to endure that. But it's just probably like any other game to them. A lot of on-field activities and things like that they go through the whole season long. So just a little sideline note there. Very interesting for the Mets and the Royals to start up the season. Another interesting story in baseball, and I wasn't aware of this till I started reading about baseball news this week. Down in Atlanta, there was a big controversy about a big statue of Hank Aaron that's been sitting down there for many years now. Of course, the Braves are supposed to be moving in 2017 to SunTrust Park, which is going to be located in Smyrna, Georgia, which is about 25 miles north of where they are right now in Atlanta. They wanted to take this Hank Aaron statue with them that's currently sitting at their stadium down there in Atlanta. But the county officials at Atlanta Fulton County did not want them to take it. They told them, no, that's their statue and it'll stay where it is. They already have a memorial there for Hank Aaron. They left the wall up where he hit his 714th home run, breaking Babe Ruth's record that stood for many years. So they want to keep this statue there. Very interesting that the Braves just this past week gave up the fight for that on who possessed the rights to the statue, and they will commission a brand new statue to be built for the new ballpark in Smyrna, Georgia.
Well, it sounds like a little governmental sour grapes there, Rich. That I'm sure they're not happy that that Atlanta's moving. I am assuming they're moving out of the county, Atlanta Fulton County, and moving into a different county, and I'm sure they're not happy about that at all. So at least the Braves are going to build a new statue. So it all works out in the end. The county gets their old tired statue and no ballpark, and the new ballpark gets a brand new shiny Hank Aaron statue, and then Hank Aaron's got two statues. So that's okay.
Not too bad. And, about a 25-minute drive it is from Turner Field, where they currently play, and they will play in 2016 still in Turner Field for supposedly the last season. 17.8 mile drive takes about 25 minutes to go up where they are going to be located in Smyrna, Georgia, and that's quite a change for a team. It'd be sort of like the Mets. Going up to Westchester maybe, or even further on beyond that, 18 miles from where they currently play, outside of the center of Atlanta. I wonder how a lot of Braves fans feel about that.
Well, they're gonna build like almost a whole new community with restaurants, and we talked about this the trend in putting a stadium where you can almost build a small town around it. I still don't understand why Turner Field's not that old. Apparently it was, it's still in good shape and everything. They just got a better deal, I guess. And look, if you're going to get a state-of-the-art stadium and it's nearby, teams are going to make the move. And what they that's what they're doing at this point in time. Again, it gets back to it being a business, and you have to expect these kind of things to go on every now and then.
Yes, it is. So we'll have to tune in to our sister podcast on the baseballtalkradio.com there, Atlanta Baseball Talk. Tune into their show and see what their constituents feel about this new stadium down there in Atlanta. Of course, you can find our show there too, MLB This Week. Gary does a couple extra shows with Mets Musings and the Brooklyn Cyclones, and I have a Phillies Talk podcast, amongst other podcasts from around the world, Japan, Canada, fantasy baseball, just about everywhere in between, even baseball happening in Europe. So if you get a chance, stop over to baseballtalkradio.com. And Gary just started up the internet radio feed again there for another season, hopefully, of great streaming audio that you can tune into anywhere on the road.
Yeah, that's a great thing, and I'm sure we have fans in Europe. You mentioned that, and we know that there's a big baseball presence in England and other countries in the European theater. So that'll be a great thing. The streaming should work well over there because they're on a time difference, so they can listen to things when it was beginning in the middle of the night here, but it will be a good time for them to listen there while they're at work. So check it out, baseballtalkradio.com, and that's the home of great baseball talk shows.
And while we're at it, we can say stop on over to our Patreon site. That's patreon.com/MLB This Week. I just made a nice couple different levels of pledges. If you'd like to sponsor our show or listener-supported sponsor, so you can sign up there for as little as $1 a month, and that would be deducted right from your PayPal account through Patreon. It's a trustworthy company. You look up on the website. It's going to have HTTPS, which is a security protocol. So don't worry about donating through there. They're very secure. Little as $1 a month. You can go up to $5, $7, $10 a month, whatever you feel like you'd like to sponsor our show. And we have some different levels of sponsorship. So we'll be mentioning your name on the show or get your name listed in our show notes. We appreciate your support. So stop on over. And that includes advertisers. If you're a business or you have a service out there, you think you want to have a pitch here on the show, we also have a couple options for you there on the website as well at patreon.com/MLB This Week. And Gary has the next story up here. A little progress made on the sliding rule change.
Well, Rich, you remember that we had that big controversy in the second game of the NLDS last year when Chase Utley had that dirty slide into Ruben Tejada, and the MLB have gotten together with the Players Association, and they are making progress on a rule change for how players can slide into second base. And this was according to ESPN's Buster Olney. The union wants to improve safety for middle infielders, does not want to eliminate players' aggressiveness on sides or the ability to break up a double play, sources told Olney. However, there is a desire on both sides to eliminate slides on which a base runner goes beyond the effort to reach second base to make contact with middle infielders. We talked about this last year about how these guys almost go headhunting as they do in football. This is kind of the equivalent to that. And it seems like it should be something easy to fix. Just make them slide into the base. Years ago, we never had all of these pop-up slides, and guys got hurt, but they played harder, and this just looked so dirty when it happened. and it still does when you look at the pictures and look at the video. That there really needs something to be done, and the worst part is that he did get initially ruled safe. I mean out, and then was ruled safe because Tejada never touched the bag. Well, it's pretty tough to touch it with a broken leg, and he should have been out for going out of the baseline or going out of the way, or a late slide. You can see how late that's, if you're watching the video, you can see how late that slide was. Look at his positioning in regards to second base, and he's just going down on his slide then. So there should be something along that line where you have to slide into the base, and you can't start it that late. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I always thought that was a dirty slide as well. Hard-nosed playing, which Utley is known for, but something that he aimed right for the player. Player had his back to him, and, there you go. But it's good that they're making some sort of progress on it. I think it's still up to a lot of interpretation with whoever's watching these plays. But, yeah, in my opinion, that was a bad slide there by Utley.
Yeah, it was late. It was just, the whole thing was, it just wasn't right, wasn't the place at the time. Of course, he'll say he was playing hard. It was a playoff game, but still, such a ruckus. And now we'll have either the Utley rule or the Tejada rule, whatever they decide to call it at this point in time. But they have to look at something, because there's too many guys getting hurt, and you don't want stars of the game out, and especially in a playoff series like that, because had the Dodgers gone on to win, there would have been an outcry about how, this hurt the Mets by taking out, even though it was he was essentially a backup player at that point. He had a good year and was hitting a little bit, and so better to try to grab it. And look, they did it for Buster Posey. They changed the whole rule. So why not do it for middle infield as well? Because the next time it may not be a Tejada. It may be, geez, I'm drawing a blank, but it could be star shortstop in the National League.
Sure, or any other shortstop in the American League for that matter, or second baseman. So we'll have to keep our eye on that story as well. And before I forget this again, I thought I was going to mention it on the last program, but we want to thank the Baseball Bloggers Alliance. We just joined them recently. We're in the fold there with the Baseball Bloggers Alliance. We're going to have a link on our website to their site, and it's gracious of them to have us housed at their website. We're sort of like bloggers ourselves, Gary, but in an audio form. A lot of people are tuning into the show, and we want to welcome all our new listeners that became aware of our show through our affiliation now with the Baseball Bloggers.
Oh, that's really cool that we're with them, hooked up with those guys, and you, of course, have been with them a while, and it's a great organization, and it's a great honor to be on their show, on their network, or on their website.
Yep. All of the above. It's an organization that's really turning around. There's a new president over there. He revamped the website. Maybe we could have him on a show, find out what he's all about there. But he sort of turned around this organization that had been floundering for the last couple years, whipped that website into shape, and sort of has a new attitude about organizing the independent bloggers. Of course, like this show, there's thousands of blogs out there that are independent voices talking about baseball, chiming in to the whole activity of the game and things like that, telling you their feelings. So, yeah, it's a great thing, and maybe we'll have to have them on a future show there, Gary.
Sounds good to me. I'm all favor for that.
Well, moving on with the show here, a female pitcher picked up her first college win in the last week, Wednesday. Sarah Hudek, who's believed to be the only female playing college baseball this season, picked up her first win for the Bossiere Parish Community College in Louisiana. She's a freshman southpaw, came to the bullpen, out of the bullpen rather, to beat Hines Community College in Mississippi on Wednesday night. Quote, she says, I was a little nervous, but I was mentally ready to go whenever Coach Voracek called for me. This young lady is the daughter of a former big leaguer named John Hudek, who played for 5 teams from 1994 through 99. He was an all-star as a rookie closer with the Astros in 94, and Hudek describes her as a finesse lefty. So awesome job there. He's obviously worked with his daughter for a couple years now, getting her into pitching shape for community college down there in Mississippi.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And she is the first female college baseball player in the country and the first woman to ever get a scholarship for the sport. So pretty neat. And now she's got her first win. And I guess there might be a future. Eventually we're going to see a woman in the big leagues, either pitching or umpiring or whatever. It should be interesting. She throws an 82-mile-per-hour fastball, and as you said, she a self-described crafty left-hander. So we'll see. She's a freshman. We'll see how her college career goes, whether she moves on to a regular college in another year or so, or whether she gets into the draft at all. And might be worth taking a shot at it, right?
Why not? That's we'll have to see what develops with this. And of course, our video viewers can have a look right there on our website, MLBThisWeek.com. You can also view all of our shows on video. We actually tape this show. If you're brave enough to go watch us on video, every show is recorded via the YouTube Hangout. So stop over there, MLBThisWeek.com.
And if we're brave enough to do it, you should be brave enough to go watch it.
That's for sure. Well, Gary, you have our last story of the week here. A new hire from down I-95 there a little ways.
Yeah, Rich, we had talked a couple of weeks ago about Joe McIlvaine and the fact that he couldn't get a job. He was a former Mets GM and former GM in San Diego. Well, lo and behold, maybe somebody's listening to the show, because he landed a job with the Baltimore Orioles as a special assistant, and it's great to have this. This guy is a great baseball mind. He should be in the game, and he's back in baseball, and who knows where this could take him from here. But I'm sure he's glad. He's got like 20 kids or something. He don't have that many, but he does have a lot of kids he's got to take care of. And I think I told the story a couple of weeks ago that I met him at a ball game. We were watching batting practice, and this guy started talking to us, and turns out that he was standing behind us asking what we thought of the team and everything. And just seemed like a nice man, a terrific baseball mind. Was mentored by Frank Cashin of the Baltimore Orioles at one point in time, and the New York Mets. Frank Cashin built the '86 World Championship team, and McIlvaine was there for a number of years. Left, came back in the '90s as the general manager, and left again, and has been working in and around baseball. But this is great to see that he's gotten another job. And with a good organization like Baltimore, and hopefully he'll bring some fresh ideas to them and go from there.
That's for sure. Well, we want to wish every listener out there a happy Valentine's Day. I'm checking out Twitter as we're winding up the show here, Gary. Some of the players tweeting out, of course, happy Valentine's Day as well. Here's one from Bryce Harper. I'm reading online here. All the big names checking in, wishing their fans a very happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's very cool. That the players are on there, and of course, there's a ton of them on there, and you can follow them, and some of them are quite clever in their posts, and some of them don't post at all much. But some of them are on Facebook as well. Twitter seems to be the big thing in the future or of the present. I just find it too fast for me. I'm an old guy, and Facebook's a little bit more. You can say more. It takes a little bit longer. Twitter with those 140 characters, and then before you know it, you put something up there, and it's been mentioned 15 times already. So I always feel like I'm like 14 steps behind with Twitter, where Facebook I feel a little bit better, more up to date with.
Yep, and here's one from Mike Piazza. Hope you guys remembered flowers for your Valentine's. So even reminding you to pick up the flowers. So great stuff there.
Yeah, I already took care of that.
Well, next week we'll be talking to you all about spring training, the warm weather. You can almost feel it now coming right through your listening device there, the warm sun rays of summer filling the airwaves, and we'll be talking a whole lot more about that on the next show. Gary, you have a great week, and we'll talk to our listeners next week all about the great start of baseball.
Looking forward to it, Rich, and can't wait to see that sunshine from Florida.